Fellas, how are you? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy, Vinny XBL. I know it's been a while. If you saw the post I did on YouTube, just the post in the community section, then you would know why I've just had a bit of a break for I think it's been about a month or maybe even two, because I think I saw the last thing I posted was the watch along for Gold Coast, and obviously that was a while back now, so yeah, it wasn't a good watch along. But anyways, we're here today, as you can see by the title. We're going to be back now for sure. I promise you guys that I don't break those promises. I promise you guys I will be back. Unless further notice, unless I, make a post, etc., I will be back for good. And anyways, now that little intro is out of the way, let's get straight into it. So obviously, the preview for Carlton versus Sydney. Firstly, because obviously I haven't been here for about a month or so. I haven't been on YouTube for about a month or so. So I just want to say, go the Blues, man. I think, we've only lost once since I stopped posting. And I was against Fremantle, and I was at Optus Stadium, so no shame in that. And we sit comfortably at 7-2 in the top 4 at the moment. And this weekend is honestly, I know we've lost 2 games, but this probably, apart from Bulldogs earlier in the season, because everyone had high expectations for them, I feel like this is our biggest test, because we're 9 rounds in now, no more mucking around, none of that, I had a few days to, celebrate the win against the Giants, which I was very skeptical about, because I wasn't sure I was going to play. We've got a very, very, very bad record against the Giants. That's actually the only second time we've ever bet the Giants, and first time at Giant Stadium. So that was a good win indeed. And good luck to Leon Cameron for whatever the future holds for him. I'm hoping he does stay in the AFL world. I'm sure he will. But where he goes next, who knows? I'm sure he's gonna have a while off. Probably be back next season or whatnot. But so it was a good win against the Giants, and leading up to this game, that was a pretty big challenge for us, because we've got a really bad record against the Giants. So it was really, really, just really important that we won, and we won comfortably. Yeah, the game was close, in sections, but I knew we'd get home in the end, simply because it just looked like we were the much more dominant team, and on paper we were. Now, to the big clash on Friday night, of course, the first round out of 2 of Sir Doug Nicholls' round, if I even said that correctly. But yeah, so it's a big clash. Obviously, there's quite a few Indigenous players on our team and Sydney's team, so it's going to be a nice moment for them and just the 2 clubs to get together. And now, when it comes to the actual game itself, it's going to be interesting, because obviously we've lost Williams, and I'm not going to talk too much about injuries because I've got a video planned for that as well. But we recently talked about the injury that happened against the Giants, and that was, of course, Zach Williams losing yet another defender. Him, McGovern, McDonald's out for the season. Him, McGovern are out for about 10 to 12 weeks each. So if we make finals, then they should be there if they're fit enough. But the good side is we do have Marchbank, who hopefully, I don't think will come in this week. I think maybe after the bye we might see Marchbank come in, which is in 3 weeks' time. So, look, in terms of now really how the game is going to play out, I've been skeptical about this all week. I looked on Sportsbetters before just to see what the punters and all that were saying, and it's $1.90 to $1.94. So it is very, very close in terms of the odds. And I feel like it should be that way, man. It's 4th versus 5th. That's also why it's one of our biggest challenges yet. This is a top 8 team who we technically haven't beaten, unless you do want to count the Dogs. This year they're not a top 8 team currently. I'm sure they will be. But, last year they were in the final, for God's sake, you got to give us some credit for knocking off the Dogs. We knocked off Richmond as well, who have always been a bit up there, apart from last year, really. And it's going to be a big test for us, man, and I do believe this is our biggest test yet. And it will really give us a good example. Of course, Stewart, I completely forgot about that too. Stewart against his former club. Hopefully he just goes out there and absolutely kills it. Now, look, in terms of midfield, I've got no doubt our midfield is better than Sydney's. They've got Mills. Now, I'm not too good in terms of with Sydney players. I don't know like the main ones like Buddy, Mills, Heaney, Papley, Laddams, etc., and I'm not too good at who they've got in that midfield. If I'm correct, now please don't judge me, Sydney supporters, if you're watching this, but I think Blake is in the midfield too. I could be wrong about that though. But anyways, our midfield, in my opinion, is much stronger than Sydney's, no question, and I'm sure most of whoever watches this video should really agree with that statement, because I feel like it is very much true. Now, if we're going to look at our backs, I've got no clue who's going to come in and who's not. Obviously, Sard, Wadering, Doherty are the three mains right now. Young should be back in. He's come back from COVID protocols. And that's now when it gets tricky. Like, are we going to bring Marchbank in this week? I'm not too sure. Seriously, I am not too sure at all if we're going to bring him in this week. I kind of hope we do. He's been killing it in the VFL last couple of weeks, so I've been watching it, so I watch everything related to Carlton, and I've been watching Marchbank, and honestly, even Paddy Dow, and I feel like Paddy Dow deserves to get a chance. Now, maybe not against Sydney, because it is such a big game, and, he hasn't played all season for us, but I do feel like he does deserve, maybe against the Pies, we should bring in Paddy Dow, just to give him a game, see how he goes, or if we lose a midfielder to COVID protocols, or touch wood, hopefully not, but if a midfielder goes down to an injury, then hopefully Paddy Dow can come in. Now, in terms of the forward line, for us against Sydney, it's going to be interesting, because they've got both the McCardens, Tom and Paddy, and I was talking to a good mate of mine, he's a Sydney fan, and I think Tom might be getting a week, which is pretty good for us, considering considering like we only have one key forward. That is good for us, because obviously Mackay's also gone out. I'm not going to talk about that too much either. I do have an injury video coming out later on, but it's just big for us that at least one of their key backs are out. Okay, that's good. Well, I mean, it hasn't even been official yet. Like, we don't know. The tribunal's actually tonight. It's Tuesday, so it is tonight. To see what the results will be, and I'll probably hear about that on AFL 360 later tonight. But now, the big concern for me is honestly probably Buddy and Papley. Now, I feel like we can shut down Papley and Buddy. I feel like we really can shut down both. Weeders or Young will take Buddy, no question. I'm not too sure who will have a go on Papley, but without a doubt, I do feel like we can shut down Buddy to at least maybe 2 goals at most, and that won't be too much of a concern in my opinion. If we can keep no goals, even better, But the key factor here is the ruck. And this is when Sydney are going to dominate us. I'm not going to sit here and lie to the camera and hide it. We're most likely going to get dominated, when it comes to the ruck. The Koning and Jesus, where we're going to continue switching. Or actually, I think the Koning's just a pure first ruck for us now. Pitt's also at 10 to 12 weeks. So, it just really, really sucks, man. Our season was going so well, and we're just hit with an injury blow, legit, one after the other. Luckily, we've had a easy run last 3 weeks. Adelaide aren't really an easy one, and neither are the Giants, but, we've still overcame them. If you look at the ladder at the moment, that would be considered an easy run for us, and it's good to see that we are past that stage where we can beat the smaller teams, smaller clubs, and I'm not disrespecting anyone there. I'm not disrespecting any North Adelaide or GWS fans or whatnot. I'm simply just saying that, based on their ladder position compared to us, it just shows that at least we can overcome losing to like those bottom 4 teams. And it's just really big to get past that stage, man, because last year, I didn't know what to expect. Like, I'd go into a game with legit no expectations whatsoever. Like, Obviously, I'd go in thinking, okay, we're going to beat North, and then we go on to lose by, I think it was like 50 plus points, and that was so embarrassing. They also did end up getting a spoon that year, North, last year, so it was very embarrassing. And look, up until the bye now, we've got Sydney and Collingwood, and it's not going to be an easy 2 games. Collingwood have got some sort of form. I mean, I do kind of say that to try not to sound too biased, because I'm a Carlton supporter, but they have lost their last... Well, they've lost all games up until Anzac Day, right? So they've lost, the last 4? Is it? Something like that. I think they might have bet Gold Coast ahead of that. Anyways, moving on, I don't care about Collingwood. Look, now, back to our defenders is where they're really, really going to need to stack up well on Sydney's forwards, because they've got some good forwards. They've got Goulden, who plays in the forward line. I think he's actually a forward mid as well. Then, of course, Bud, Papley and Heaney goes in there too. So they've got some really good small forwards. And that's what could be a big factor in this game. And that is why, with Williams out, he did a pretty big blow. Because he would normally take one of them. So I'm not too sure who we're going to bring in yet at all. But yeah, look, it's going to be make or break, man. The midfield is where the game's going to get won, but in the ruck is where, they've got Laddams and is Hickey back? Was Hickey back? I think Hickey might be back, or I could be completely wrong about that. But yeah, anyways, if it is, then Hickey and Laddams to switch between rucks is a massive disadvantage for De Koning, because he's got to be in there the entire game, just busting his ass, and they can just switch between. One of them goes in the forward line, one of them goes in the ruck, and just like that now they've got another tool in the forward line. And talking about forward lines now, with our forward line, I was so impressed with Durden, and I just want to say big congratulations to my boy Durds for getting the Rising Star nomination of round 9. It was just such a good game to watch by him. Seriously, he was phenomenal against the Giants, and I do think it's well deserved. Without a doubt, and that's not even me being biased. I think most people would agree with that. So it comes at an interesting moment now for us with our forward line, because Durds is all over the place, man. He's been playing forward, midfield, and defense. I've seen him in defense, clearing it. I've seen him in midfield. I've seen him in the forward line. I don't know where his main position is. I know when he came in, his main position was a small forward at the start of the year. I don't know what happened ever since then, man. He's playing everywhere. I saw him in the back line out of nowhere against the Giants, man. Just getting the ball and getting some touches, getting some clearances, man. It was nuts. But Jesse Motlop too, big up to him. Kicked his first goal on the weekend. And he should keep his place, I reckon. Didn't have a great game, of course. Neither did Carroll, but I do feel... Honestly, if there's one player that could be getting dropped, I feel like it could be Carroll. And if anything, Carroll for Dow, I feel like could easily happen by Vossi or, just the staff. I do feel like Carroll could get dropped, because that was a pretty shocking performance by him. Then stuffed up my super coach, so that's always fun now. But, at the end of the day, he's only, through 2 or 3 weeks into his AFL career for us. And, and then, of course, we've got Always and Durden, who they go so well together, man. That's why I like Durden when he's in the forward line. Him and Always just match up so brilliantly with each other. And, of course, it's not a forward line if I don't mention Charlie Curnow. Now, Charlie, he had it rough against the Giants, but I told my mates this too, I was like to them, big ups to Sam Taylor. He has done brilliantly well on Charlie Curnow, and in the last quarter, Curnow came to kicked a couple goals to really seal us the game. So he always has those sparks. But definitely probably his worst game so far for Carlton, apart from early on when he was just getting back from, of course, the injuries and whatnot. And I do want to give a quick shout out. It's not a forward guy, but I do want to give a quick shout out to Doherty, because that goal was insane. 62 metres out on the run. He only took a few steps too, and just belted it on the full as well. It did not bounce on the full. It was an amazing goal by Doc, and it's just pretty emotional seeing all the guys get around him after what he's been through and stuff. Only some it's just you can't even imagine what he's been through. He's been through that much. But big up to Doc, and of course, if I'm correct, Jack Martin, is he going to be back in? I can't remember how long he was out for. I know he got injured last week. Well, at least Scan said he got injured. I think it was a finger injury. So, excuse me. But, at least I hope Jack Martin is in this week if he can play, if he's not injured. I really, really do hope he can play because he's a big part to our team. I've seen massive sparks from him and Silvani in that forward line too I think he's actually a permanent forward now. I think Voss has made him there, and he seems to love it. Kicking some goals, he kicked a great snag on the weekend. And everything's looking good for Carlton right now, man. And, Sydney are going to be a very hard team to beat. Are we the underdogs? You know what? I think I'm just going to go ahead and say I think it's 50-50. I'm not going to say we're the underdogs. I'm not going to say we should win. I'm simply leaving it at 50-50. End of story there. Listen, my prediction, of course I'll be doing a tipping video later in the week as well, but my prediction for just Carlton-Sydney, I'm going to say Carlton by 14 points. Considering it is also at Marvel Stadium, you've got to keep that in mind as well. We play really good at Marvel Stadium. We convincingly bet North and Adelaide at Marvel, and obviously Sydney are going to be a much harder team, but just saying that, home field advantage is always a good thing for us. And, guys, it's great to be back. I just want to get that out there. I did have an on the couch segment I was meant to post about Carlton, but it only went for legit a minute long, so there was no really point posting it. I'm not gonna if it goes 3+ minutes, I'll post it. Anything below, there's just no point. But guys, it's great to be back. I hope you guys enjoyed this preview for Carlton versus Sydney this Friday, and I'm massively hyped. Now, guys, I just want to quickly mention this is not confirmed, but potentially I could be doing a collab watch along. I'm not going to mention with who, because it's not confirmed. So there's no point mentioning with who. But there's a chance I could be doing a collab watch along for Carlton versus Sydney this Friday. So stay tuned for that. It will be on their channel, of course. They do have a bigger channel than mine. But that's all I'm going to say. But I'll leave it at that for now, guys. Anyways, fellas, it's been your boy Vinny XPL. Hope you guys have a fantastic afternoon in Australia or wherever you're around the world. Have a great day, night, or afternoon. It's been your boy Vinny XPL. Peace out, and I will see you guys in the next one.